is Monday, March 28th, and as we head into the closing of the first quarter of 2022, it's going to be interesting how certain asset prices close the month out. That being said, let's start off with the US oil WTI price action. So ever since 2 weeks ago, where we had the weekly topping tail on the chart over here, we issued a very strong oil short alert to our members, which we've rinsed and repeated twice now. But flipping back to the daily chart, we've seen a massive collapse in oil, and naturally after a big decline of this magnitude, you'll see a retrace, and it was a clear textbook technical 618 retrace of this downside move, and now you're off to make a series of another low, take out this pivot low area. Ultimately, I do think oil has tremendous more downside. Whenever you have oil run up substantially and start gapping up with this crazy price action, the downside is always substantially more powerful. It falls a lot faster than it rose, and when you look at this rose substantially. Even this power strong move over here was a substantial increase in the price of oil. And now it has to swing back to the other side of the equilibrium as we see potential resolution in Russia and Ukraine. And this is a big part of why oil dropped today. Just flipping back to the daily, this drop of over 8% happened on the back of potential resolutions or some sort of diplomatic agreement between Ukraine and Russia. Now, these talks are very early and they're still going to continue. Overall, oil had to fall 100%. The technicals are screaming it, the fundamentals are screaming it, but you always need that news catalyst in our markets, and that's what's beautiful about the technicals, is it often you can't predict what type of news event is going to occur, but there's always a catalyst in the media that forces the herd mentality to swing in a certain direction. And there's been so much bullish sentiment on oil, even after the substantial decline and powerful signals, and oil really has to come back down and to eventually test this lower channel. But you're going to get a lot of bounces in here, and those are trading opportunities. But oil does have to come down, and if we do head into a recession, or if there's signs of some sort of recession where there's 2 quarters of consecutive declining growth, then oil will really start falling, and often it will be the leading indicator because it's an input cost in so many different products. It's the most used commodity worldwide, and it always will have some sort of aggregate demand or supply ratio that is swinging in a certain direction. So I foresee that there's more downside, but you still have to be nimble with this position because we've seen the prices of commodities spiking and shocking, and it's been tremendous moves and certainly caught a lot of people off guard and in dangerous scenarios. Ultimately, more downside for oil.